thank you all for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Frank, choices people have when getting divorced. Their choices?
Well, sure. People that get to that unhappy place in their lives have a couple of different ways of getting through the divorce process. Traditionally, people would hire a couple lawyers and go to court and let a judge decide things for them. People can also hire a mediator. People can go through what's called the collaborative process. People can hire private judges or arbitrators to kind of decide their case for them. So there's a couple different ways to go.
It's interesting because I think when people really consider divorce, it is exactly the traditional model that most people think of, at least myself, hiring lawyers and fighting it out in court.
Right.
Seems like there's lots of other ways to do it now.
Well, there are other ways and there are better ways.
Better ways, okay. Okay.
I've been doing this for over 40 years and I've learned a couple of things. I've been paying a little attention.
Okay.
Nobody wins a divorce, and the law in most cases is actually pretty simple, and most lawyers can, within some accuracy, predict what's going to happen in a particular case. But people come in with a boatload of emotions and fears,
Oh, sure.
and spend a lot of money on their emotions and their fears and fighting, and it's unnecessary. And we encourage people to set that stuff aside and look at some of these alternative ways to get through the process.
Yeah, you yourself and Wynn have stated that litigation is often and should be someone's last resort.
Well, yeah, that's my opinion. I think Wynn agrees with me.
Absolutely.
In litigation, you're doing it in public. You're going to court. You're taking the most extreme position that you can take about your case. So, husband goes all the way to the left, wife goes all the way to the right, and they, fight about who's right. You're letting a judge, a third party, decide things about your family that are, very important matters, kids, money, property, and you're giving all that away to someone else to decide instead of handling it yourself. As I say, you're doing it in public. You're in an open courtroom, or all your pleadings get filed in the court. They're all public. It's a lot more expensive because you're paying lawyers to fight instead of to solve problems. So yeah, I mean, litigation's there if you can't do it any other way, in my opinion, but it should be the last thing you do.
We're talking with Frank Nageotte. He's a family law mediator. His email address is fxn@dfghlaw, fxn@dfghlaw.com. Now you mentioned the privacy versus public that one might go through a litigation process. Go through that one more time, because that seems really important, the distinction there.
Well, if you're going to go to court, we have public courts.
Anybody can show up.
Anybody can show up. Anybody can go in anytime. Anything you file, any piece of paper you file with the court is a public record. So, you say something nasty about your spouse in a divorce filing today, 20 years from now, your grandkids can go look at it in the court file. And that's maybe not what you want to have happen.
Sure.
But it's always there. So it's an important consideration. If you try some of these alternative methods, you're doing it in the privacy of somebody's office. You don't necessarily have to file all that stuff with the court. You can just, put your final agreement in the court. And a lot of the conversation is private as opposed to out in the public marketplace.